nested if is when you have an if statement within an if statement. This kind of a situation often occurs when you have to filter a variable multiple times. So let's look at the syntax for nested if. You have if followed by condition and the double colon just as before. And now within the if statement, indented again to the right, you'll have the second condition. So you'll have if and your second condition, which is condition 2, followed by colons. Now you can have as many levels of nesting as required, but of course the more number of nestings you have, the less optimized the program is. So you should always try to minimize or if possible completely avoid nested ifs. Now we look at a flowchart for nested if. You have your first expression, let's call this expression 1. If this results in true, then the control moves on to the second expression, that is the nested if. Now if this condition results in true, you'll have the execution for the body of if. If this condition results in false, you'll have the execution for the body of else. Now, of course, this else is not mandatory. You can either have an else statement or completely avoid it altogether. The control, however, after else follows to these statements right after the if block. Now, I'll move on to my Jupyter notebook to show yet another demo for nested if. So here I'll have a number, and first I need to filter this number as to whether it's less than 25 or greater than 25. If this number is greater than 25, then I need to also specify. So here I'll take an integer, and my first filter would be if the integer is less than or greater than 25. If this integer is less than 25, I further need to specify if this number is even or odd. And if the number is greater than 25, I just need to print out that yes, this is greater than 25. So let's begin. I'll have a variable c. And for now, I'll have the value 21 stored in C. Now, if C is less than 25, I'll first check if C is an even number. So if C is less than 25 and then C mod 2 is equal to 0, I'll print out C is an even number less than 25. C is an even number less than 25. Else, that is if C mod 2 is not equal to 0, then I'll print out C is an odd number less than 25. Now, if C is not less than 25, that is, if C is greater than 25, that would come under the else block, which matches with our parent if statement. So, if you notice the indentation here, this else statement, which goes with this if statement, is indented at the same position. And on the other hand, our parent if statement, which is paired with this else statement here, are indented at 0th or the same location. So now under my parent else statement, I'll just print out C is greater than 25. Let me now run this program. And C is 21. So it gets into this if statement here because it's less than 25. And then C mod 2, which is 21 mod 2, is not equal to 0. So the control moves to this else statement. And C is an odd number less than 25 gets printed. If I had 50 here, run my program again, this if statement would not get executed. Control would transfer to this else statement here, and C is greater than 25 gets printed. Now, so far with if and with if else, we had a very binary approach. That is, if this condition results in true, print out the statement A. If this results in false, print out statement B. Now, what if we have various other conditions? For example, we have a number A, and we need to check if A is within the range 1 to 10. In which case, we need to print out that this variable is within the range 1 to 10. Else, if it's within the range 10 to 20, we need to print that out. Now, if it's in the range 20 to 30, we need to print that out. That is, it's in the range 20 to 30. So in this case, we cannot just stick to if-else statement. We need something more. We need something which has more steps. And that is where if elif else ladder comes into picture. So here, if we look at the syntax, we have your if condition first, the semicolons followed by your statements, and under this we do not directly have the else statement, but we have another keyword, the elif. So the elif statement lets you provide another condition and not just go with the false of if. So you have elif and then condition 2 under which you have statement. Now you can have any number of elif statements. And finally you'll have your else statement which will be executed if none of the previous statements have been executed. So we'll have a look at the flowchart to understand basically how the if elif else ladder works. You have your first condition, expression 1. If expression 1 results in true, body of if gets executed. And immediately you move on to the statement which is right after the else statement. If your expression 1 results in false, that means any of the preceding elif or else condition could result in true. So the program keeps checking all these conditions. So your next elif condition is checked, which is expression 2. And then if expression 2 results in true, then the body of this elif statement is executed and no further statements are checked in the if elif else block. Directly you move on to the statement right after these blocks. If none of the previous elif conditions or the if conditions match, the control moves on to the else statement and the else statement will definitely get executed. So once the else statement is executed, the control moves to the statements which are right after the if elif else block. So that is how the control flows in if elif else ladder. We'll have a look at another demo to better understand this. So here I'll have a variable, say var, which stores a single alphabet, which is for now Z, and then I'll have the if elif else ladder to check if this variable or if this value stored within the variable is a vowel or a consonant, moreover which specific vowel it is. So first I have if var equal to a, print this is a vowel and print this is the vowel A. Now we have 5 consonants, that's A, E, I, O, U. So we cannot directly go with an else statement here. We need to check the condition for each of these alphabets or these vowels. So now I'll have the elif var equal to E, print this is the vowel E, just copy paste this. Elif again, this time for I, then for O, U, and finally, if your variable is not equal to any of these 5 letters, then we just print out that it's a consonant. So that can come in the else part. So if none of these statements on top execute, the control directly comes to else statement and else definitely gets executed. So here we'll print out this is a consonant. Before I run this program, a small correction. It should be double equal to. Single equal to is used for assignment. Okay, now we can run this code and it prints out this is a consonant. So var healthy value Z, which is of course a consonant. I'll put in a vowel now, say O, run the code again and prints out this is a vowel O. So this works perfectly fine.